How's it going, YouTube? Stocks by the numbers. Good afternoon. Wanted to do a very quick update video here just on the overall sentiment of the market and how we've been looking basically since we had that massive pullback in 2020 and then the huge rally and have since been tightening here in this sell-off. Now, obviously, the last couple of days have been pretty volatile, pretty rocky, and then, of course, you have a 400-point move here on the Dow today, up about 1.25%. Reason being, they're supposedly coming to a close here on this whole debt ceiling nonsense BS. But like I always say, forget about the BS. Just focus on the numbers, focus on the good investments, control the controllables. That's what I want to say. You can control how much money you have in a position, or even if you're undervaluing your position in a stock or a mutual fund, whatever it might be, right? You can control how much money you're putting in. Now, you can also control your downside risk. You can limit your downside risk, even if you set a mental stop loss and not an actual physical one through your trading account. You can implement your own mental stuff. Okay, I'm buying it here. It's worth this. If it pulls back here, I should, probably get out. I can't afford to lose that much off this. I'd have to look for the next thing after that. You can control how much is put into each investment and how diversified you are. If you look at your portfolio now, do you have 6 or 7 positions and are 5 or 6 of them all in the tech sector, right? Or do you happen to own 4 auto stock positions now, and you didn't even realize that you took all these auto positions? So this is why you just control the controllables, and I know the market is sometimes politicized and tied to a lot of these BS headlines, but you got to just keep your head down and just continue to plow forward and control the controllables, and you can control how much due diligence, how much research you're doing on a stock. You can control your discipline and that feeling of FOMO, right? You can keep it in check. And when someone posts something on Reddit, or someone messages you about something else that might look hot, or they're about to do something, maybe you should buy some. This company's posting earnings. What do you think? You want to take a position? You want to roll the dice? No, stop. Take a deep breath. Take a step back. Remember why you're doing this. You are looking for, just like what a stock is looking for, a publicly traded company. You are looking for consistent, steady growth for yourself, your family, over every week, every month, every quarter, every year. And in my opinion, the best way to do that, especially since most of you are going to be doing this for several more years, chances are, even if you're one of the the older age group people who are watching this, if you're up in your 60s or your 70s or whatnot, the way modern medicine is, everyone now living a hell of a lot longer. So if you're sitting there in your 70s and let's just say, even if you have until 80, that's 10 more years. So even, 3, 4, 5 years of doing better investing could put yourself and your family in an even better position. So, I know it's very stressful and it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to take in, but just, make the smart moves, stay disciplined, stay focused. That's what I always say. But long story short here, basically this stock going all the way back to this index, this is the Dow we're looking at. But this basically looks like every other stock. If you notice, this is basically forming a big symmetrical triangle here over these several years. And of course, that apex will either give us a bullish breakout or a bearish breakout. And we don't really know yet because, unfortunately, a symmetrical triangle can go either way. But, I did draw this bottom trend line here. This would probably be the absolute bottom here you're looking at. Like the high 25s, 25,500. That might be a little extreme. I don't know if we should really go that low. However, I did point out a little gap up here. And that gap, let's look at the line here. This is the mark here, 31,119.27. So that technically, in my opinion, is where this Dow should go. Especially, like I said, we're dealing with hyperinflation. The whole economic environment here has been pretty crappy over the last several years. And that's why I know I may seem like a pessimist, but see, like this pullback here to this fib, that was, again, like 31,000 and change. Like, that was justified. And, I'm glad it bounced up and people made a couple of bucks in the short term, but it really probably shouldn't, and it should continue to come down and bounce and come down and bounce and come down. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't know if I'm saying it's going to immediately crater down here and drop to 25K. Might seem a little extreme, but again, to break and just fill that gap even that it had up at a little over 31,100, that doesn't seem too crazy. And again, I drew the bottom trend line here on the couple of breakout candles just to show you, right? Like if we break here and then we bounce and off the fib and then we hit and then we, flatten out and slowly rise up, like, it would just make sense because again, my big red arrow here showing you that after hitting these highs, this was back when the bull dropped last year. So in the last 18 months, we've kind of been in just this volatile downtrend, right? So if I'm sitting here telling you, oh, I think it might break and head down, it's like, yeah, you can't call me crazy for thinking that, right? We've been in a downtrend for a year and a half. So again, in the short term, I'm glad we had a little rally back up here to the top of our triangle trend line. But in my opinion, I do think it's going to break sometime soon and get back to that. Let's try to zoom in a little bit for you. Yeah, see that gap up? Look at that. You got that gap up right there, and the high of that candle before it gapped up, as we see at the top of our screen, our O, our H, our L, our C again, the open, the high, the low, the close. You can see the high, 31,119.27. So popping up from there, it has to come back and fill that gap, right? And as we see, we're kind of here, and we have to get back down to that yellow line. So I do think, in my opinion, it's only going to be a matter of time. But again, symmetrical triangle, unfortunately, undetermined. But a pullback of a couple of thousand points does make sense, especially the economic climate that we're in right now. If you feel otherwise, hey, let us know down in the comment section. Maybe you saw something in the chart I didn't see. Always keep my mind open. But shout out to you guys who are watching the video who are also in the Discord that I posted, because if I see something, I say something, right? And what I saw yesterday, as you see here, was basically a big pull down and then a flag forming. So I noticed this bear flag and basically said that the Dow really should be pulling back. And then as you see, it broke the flag and then tried to climb back up and retest that, but ended up dropping down. And they wanted to bring it up, but it rejected off that 20-day moving average and really began chunking down. So, again, I know when I make these videos, I'm speaking more usually of a long-term investment as opposed to a short-term trade, unless I specifically say, oh, this pattern's setting up, something's going to happen in the next couple of days, right? But for the most part, I know I lean more towards long-term analysis as opposed to short-term analysis. But, hey, if you guys are, if you want to jump in the Discord, if there's something you see during the day, you want to run it by me and other people in there, of course, and we, have a good little roundtable discussion. And predominantly, it sounds like it's a buy or it looks like it's a sell, at least not only will you have confirmation from a few other people, but more importantly, you're going to feel more confident going into the trade as well. So we called that out, boom, had a nice break here, and then we're looking at today's chart here, and you can see what I did here. I drew this trend line here along the bottom, and I really thought that we would have a pullback here, especially here later in the day around 3:30. I really thought we would have the pullback here, but that's not what happened. And again, it seems like it really wanted to stay up and be up, 400 points on this debt ceiling announcement. And hey, listen, they might jump it up, it might open up like another 100 points or so. But I really do have a feeling that even if they have futures up green and they try to suck you guys in for the first hour or two, I really do have a feeling that they're going to reverse it and they're going to give these gains right back. I really do have that feeling. But as the stock really began to move here, as you see, about midday, about 12:30, you can see that overall it was just rising in this tight little formation, forming this rising wedge. And this is basically like right around here where I called out in the Discord that, hey, you might want to grab some puts on the DIA, which again is the ETF that tracks the Dow. And then boom, they broke down and only pulled back here, maybe about like 60 points or wherever it was, and then began to rise. But again, you can see in this tight little range here, and I said again, it's forming another rising wedge. It's about to take another leg down, and then boom, that's exactly what happened here. Now, obviously, in the last 10-15 minutes, the market rallied a little bit and closed up above this moving average and finished strong, which of course may be a slight bullish indicator. That's why I'm saying, like, they may open it up, 70 points, 90, 120 points, but then I really do think that they're going to reverse it downward. And you can also say, I guess you can say maybe an inverse head and shoulders here in the minutes, right? So that gave it a little, little bullish tech pattern to spike it up a little bit and have a little bit of a rally to get back above the moving average. But I don't know. I have a sinking feeling in my stomach that they're making it seem like everything's okay when it's really not, and I feel like this shit's going to hit the fan any day now. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm trying to be a realist for you guys. So, again, of course, we can break out of here and go back up, whatever, 35,000, 36,000, whatever, fantastic. And obviously, if your whole portfolio is long and you own and you're not short anything, then obviously that's what you want. So, hey, if that's the bulk of you guys, then I hope it works out. But on the flip side, again, it just seems a little too crappy here in the short term. And that's why, like I said, I really did think that it would come down and retest. Even if it stayed up, I thought it would bounce like that. And you'd be able to play, the highs and the lows and know exactly what was going to happen. But, kind of went its own way here. Stayed up, again, roughly 400 points. Switching over here to stock charts, we can see we're looking at the daily now. You can see the MACD has really just been slipping and pulling back and selling off. Now, again, it bounced off this bottom Bollinger Band and closed up here above this 50-day moving average, 33,154. But again, that moving average is actually close to that gap fill, right? 33. No, it's not. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong digit. But obviously a pullback there at 300 points. That would be nice, especially for our short-term DIA put holders now. But, again, as you see, it's been in a downtrend here for the last couple of months, and I do feel like it should even come back down and retest that 200-day moving average there of about 32,762. RSI sitting a little below 50, but again, you can see it was up, and it's just been like slowly pulling back here over the last couple of months. So that's why I'm saying I think the pullback and the sell-off is going to continue. Switching over here on the weekly, RSI basically sitting at the same level. It's a little over 51.5 right now, so kind of mid-range. Not really the best metric to use. However, again, over the weeks and the months, you can see it was kind of downtrending. Of course, we had this rally, but now it looks like it may be continuing downward. Look at the MACD. Looks like it actually just crossed there and may potentially break down to the downside. So that's why I'm saying if you look at a lot of these levels here, we just looked at like 32,700 and change. Now you got this 50-day moving average on the weekly, 32,575, and then basically 32,000 even would be the bottom Bollinger Band. This, obviously, in my opinion, I think it should come down here to the 200-day moving average. But if you notice, the 200-day moving average, 31,014. The line that we drew initially here, where I spoke about the gap up here and the potential gap fill, that was, here, let me check it out again for you guys, 31,119. So you come back here, 31,014. So that's why, it may bounce around, but it really should come back down to that 31,119 mark before it does have a bounce here, especially with the MACD crossing like that. Yeah, in my opinion, I really do think that's what's going to happen with the Dow. Now, of course, I could be incorrect, right? Because if you really think about it, you got a 50% chance, right? It could either be right or you could be wrong. But, at the end of the day, like I said, we control the controllables, based on what I'm seeing here. Maybe they might continue off of this fuel, of this BS headline, but I really do think the sell-off is going to continue, and I think we're going to pull back. I really do think we're going to pull back. That's why I've been basically calling for puts on DIA in the Discord. But just wanted to do this update video here, just an overall look going back a couple of years and even the last few days on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, because I know not everyone is always interested in individual stocks, and there are a lot of traders out there who trade SPY, QQQ, DIA. So, obviously, just wanted to keep everybody in the loop here. But I'll end it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Like the video, thumbs up, algorithm helps me out. Subscribe to the channel, means a lot to me. But like I always say, moving forward, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and uncertain. So I want to wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thank you for stopping by. Catch you guys in the next video.